And amidst the missing vaccine stocks, Congress Member of Parliament P. Chidambaram has called for an audit of the two vaccine manufacturers in India, Bharat Biotech as well as Serum Institute of India. Now, he has come out to say that the latest statement of Bharat Biotech has added to the confusion and that there needs to be some kind of a resolution to this mystery. Otherwise, people's anger on this issue will come out on the streets. Meanwhile, the BJP has raised questions as to whether this is just aimed at increasing India's dependency on imported vaccines.
There seems to be no end over the war of words between the opposition and government of India over the vaccination shortage. We have seen how after the report of 6 crore co-vaccine being produced in the month of May, only 2 crore has been distributed across the state and the UTs, after which we have seen the opposition parties have upped their ante, asking where exactly are the remaining production of the co-vaccine, to which the government of India has in fact clarified that the production of 6 crore that has in fact been estimated is not for the month of May, it is for the month of June is what the government of India is saying. Other than that, the government has also been saying that the vaccinations sometimes are in the transit or sometimes they are in the central drug laboratory to go through a number of tests like the stability test, sterility test and also the quality check, and that is when after which a batch is in fact sent out to the states and the UTs. So hence this whole process might take days altogether.
You're watching the Newshour Special Edition, Debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Okay, let's take this across to our guests joining us. Aparajita Sarangi and Sujata Paul continue to be with us. Also, Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, chairperson of Nephron, joining us. Let me begin with Aparajita Sarangi. Aparajita Sarangi, the opposition says that there's so much confusion about the vaccines that there has to be an audit of the Indian companies, because also questions being raised, multiple aspects. Where are private companies and corporates going to be getting vaccines for their programs when state governments themselves are not getting vaccines, is the question that Mr. Chidambaram is asking.
A very good evening to all of you. Now, I'm extremely candid when I say that the government of India is open to all kinds of audits, all kinds of questions. We are extremely transparent in our dealings, so we welcome any kind of audit. This is the first thing that I wanted to tell all of you. But at the same time, I would definitely like to mention here that the opposition does not want to understand the whole issue. It said a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. The Prime Minister of the country comes before the nation and talks to everybody and says that by 31st of December, 16 crore vaccine doses would be given to all. And then he also kind of puts forth before everybody the blueprint. There were 2 vaccine manufacturers, then Sputnik 5 came. Now we are talking of 2 would become 13 vaccine manufacturers, and very soon we'll be going to 19. So the entire thing has been well planned out. And let me tell you, there is a national expert group on vaccine administration. Now, I would request all these people, the naysayers of the country, to have trust in the institutions. You just cannot oppose for the sake of opposing. When things are going well, they create problems. When there was problem of oxygen, we worked extremely hard at that point of time. They created all kinds of problems for all of us, for the entire country. And from 5,000,
but you cannot deny, madam, that there is
600 metric ton per day, we went to 9,524.
That's not a point that's missed on anyone, Aparajita Sarangi, because our vaccination rate has been sliding for the past few weeks.
Please let me speak. Please let me speak. See, as per the World Bank calculation, the population of the world is 7.7 billion. We are almost 1.4 billion population. So there is a high demand globally of vaccine, and there is a limited number of vaccine manufacturers, not only in our country, I'm also talking of the entire world. So keeping in view all the issues, the situation that all the countries are in, not only India, I think the opposition here, especially the Congress, should have some sense in their brains. It's very unfortunate they don't have any grey matter. They should actually stand with the Prime Minister and stand with the entire central government and
I
all
think,
the state governments, irrespective of which
I
party
think
where is there, which state is in.
let's not make any personal comments. Let's stick to the issue at hand, and the issue at hand also is when these vaccine orders were made. All right, Sujata Paul's hand is going up. Sujata Paul, your response to Aparajita Sarangi.
Yes, I take strict objection to the words you have used, Ms. Sarangi. I'm not used to hearing such words from you. Let's not get into grey matter and white matter. This is a matter related to the country and our people. Your party is in government, but you are my government as well. If I am the opposition, I am the opposition in a democracy, and so are the opposition parties. If they question you and they tell you what needs to be done, you should learn to take it positively. Positivity is a word that has oft been used by our Prime Minister. Now, coming to oxygen shortage, this is the result of ill planning and mismanagement and not planning properly when we have the time to do it. When we are talking about the companies which are getting the vaccines, the questions raised are very valid. How come they are saying, how come HCL and Reliance is saying that they are going to be vaccinating their employees, their families, their associate companies, etc., etc. When states, and I am talking about states which are ruled even by Bharatiya Janata Party. Look at Uttarakhand, where I come from. We have not started vaccination for under 45. We floated global tenders, but they have drawn a blank. So where are we going from here? So instead of questioning the opposition, learn to take their questions with a pinch of salt if you can't digest it, and also positively if you can make the effort to improve the situation. You're talking about the data, you were explaining it and manipulating it. Just a second, please. But the affidavit that the government has submitted mentions the data stands at 6 crore. So we are talking about 4 crore. Let's say 1 crore was wasted. Where are the 3 crores which is the other deficit now? Now tell us, shouldn't there be an audit? You're saying that there should be an audit. You're open to an audit. Then why don't you get an audit done? And why don't you have a strategy? Why can't we have a plan so that everybody in the country can gain that confidence which we have lost? That is the main point.
Okay. You've asked a question. Now listen to the response from the BJP spokesperson. I'm just coming to you, Dr. Bagai. Very quickly.
Yes. See, the point is that the Congress does not come with constructive suggestions. Since the beginning, the time we started battling with this problem, they raised a question mark on the efficacy of Covaxin and Covishield. We can talk of Shashi Tharoor, we can talk of the Chhattisgarh Health Minister, we can talk of Jairam Ramesh. So I think they also need to understand the issue. We welcome their constructive suggestions, but we cannot understand why there should be opposition for the sake of opposition. We are extremely positive. We have already been talking to all the chief ministers of all the states, irrespective of party lines. The Prime Minister always talks of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas. So when the entire world is standing with all of us, with the Prime Minister,
even if I accept all the arguments that you're making, the question is where are the missing jabs that have been spoken about?
For these people should understand the issue and then join us.
I think the crux of the debate is the missing jabs. We have had this debate on vaccines, madam, but the crux is the missing jabs. I think that is a question that really needs to be addressed, but we are very limited time, so I have to go across to Dr. Bagai.
The central government is seized of the matter.
Ma'am, the doctor on the panel has not yet spoken. I want him to come in on this. Dr. Bagai, this whole issue of missing vaccines is very worrisome. Statements that have come in fact, from the companies, Mr. P. Chidambaram has today said, have only added to the confusion when they say that there is a 4-month waiting period, so on and so forth. Now, while there may be those restrictions in terms of our infrastructure, in terms of regulatory procedures, there's a lot of mismatch in the data, and that's leading to a lot of people asking questions as to what's happening to the vaccines actually.
Good evening, Madhav. Good evening, everyone. I think this is the time and the moment of our nation's history in which everyone has to be collectively standing together. If there is a gap or if there is a particular shortfall in terms of a data, I'm sure that can be sorted out. But what I would request with folded hands to all the opposition parties is to stand by the nation. It's not about politics. It's not about one party. This is the worst crisis we have seen after the partition, after the independence. please understand, just Madhav, 30 seconds. India has finished completed 22 crore vaccinations, which is about 11.64% of the Indian population having received at least one injection. The countries like Australia are at 14 and South Korea are at 10%. This is one amongst the largest adult vaccination drives which we are embarking on. This is not an easy task across the length and breadth, including all the protocols and safety measures in place. We have proven that it is almost a 90 to 95% effectiveness on the ground. We need to look after the variants on the ground, and now we have to look after the scariants and the opposition. Not fair. Let us all be together. We need the opposition to help us.
All right, Dr. Bagai, I'm completely out of time. I'd like to thank you as well as Sujata Paul and Aparajita Sarangi. I'm sorry, ma'am, we're completely out of time on this debate. As much as I'd love to debate this a lot more, this is unfortunately all the time we have. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. And with that, it's a wrap on News Hour.